Say when. Well, good afternoon and welcome to Harker Oval. It's an immaculate Sunday afternoon for rugby league and we're here for what should be an absolute belter of a game, a replay of last year's preliminary final. It's Western Suburbs up against Macquarie. My name's Morgan Campbell and I've got Matthew Peterson with me. Matthew, good afternoon. Who do you fancy today and why?
Oh, I think I have to go Macquarie. Certainly West will be tough opposition, but only just scraped through really last week. You can obviously still see the scars from last week. It's very wet, despite there being no rain this morning or this afternoon. So I fancy Macquarie in this one.
Fair enough. Well, Macquarie are about to kick off. There's a couple of late changes to the team, so we'll take you through those as well. Our referee is Tom Aylett, and he signals to the timekeeper we're about to go. And we're away in round two, in the last game of round two between Macquarie and Western Suburbs. And it's going to be Jake Finn bringing it back for Wests. They've got Brad Tye at fullback today, Willis Alatini and Jermaine Ale on the wings, Steve Gordon and Simon Williams in the centres, Joel Brown and Jade Porter in the halves, Mark Tafu is number 8, Jake Finn's number 10, number 9 with the ball at the moment is Chad Redman, and in the back row 11 Peter Mannion, 12 Matt Herman and 13 David Dryden on the bench, 18 Chris Knight, 15 Mark Farrer, 16 Reggie Saunders and 17 Callan Richardson. Meanwhile for Macquarie, as West bring the ball forward, this is Finn again with his second run of the day. He's met very ferociously there. Macquarie have got Nathan Cantor at fullback. I suspect he's about to get some work. On the wings, number 2 Ryan Pywell and 5 Dean Kukar-Smith. In the centres, 3 Teeson Favielli and 4 Matt Hay. The halfback is Andrew Sumner. The 5'8" is going to become clear in a minute because there was nobody named in the 6. The props, 8 Isaac Briggs and 10 Adam Swadling, 9 Jordan Noble, the hooker, 11 Josh Schmiedel, 12 Brock Harmer and 13 Blake Gallen. So there you have it. And Macquarie bringing the ball forward for their first use. And this looks like Isaac Briggs charging into them. And they're going to start their first set in decent field position on the cricket pitch there. A hint of spear in the tackle, but play goes on. And this is Brock Harmer working that short side for Macquarie. Tough opening exchanges here. Of course, that preliminary final last year was played in a mud heap out at St John Oval after torrential rain for most of the day. Different conditions here today, but not by that much. Although it's pretty impressive the way the ground's recovered after the drama last week with Central coming here with an 8-4 loss. So Steve Gordon bringing it back. What do you think of these first couple of sets for these two sides, Matthew?
Really just a feel out, I guess. It looks as though I would say Simon Allen playing in 5'8", the 14.
Yep.
Usually familiar to most Bar TV viewers as a back rower or a lock, but certainly looks like he's lining up as the 5'8 today. But certainly has a lot of ball work about him, despite being a guy you would usually play in the forwards.
Well, I'm told that he's played a fair bit of 5'8 in his time and played a fair bit of rep football as well there in the past, so he's not going to be unfamiliar to that position. And you can see he's lining up there now just out the back of the scrum, which was brought about because Wests have coughed it up early in very, very bad field position. So Macquarie setting up 25 metres out, centre field. A great early opportunity. And it is Allen with the ball out there to Favielli, who looks to be wearing the 4 today. There's a bit of confusion there. And this is Jordan Noble out of dummy half. So Favielli's in the 4 and Hayes in the 3. And now we've got a penalty for the markers not being square. So Macquarie with a great chance here. This is Schmiedel's first touch. And he always has a snipe at the line when close. Gallen's calling for it to the left. He gets it. It's a short ball there and not a baddie either. I think it's Isaac Briggs. And he's twisting towards the line. Macquarie is set deep on both sides. And it's Sumner. And he's going to try it himself here almost by process of elimination. They overrun him out to the left. And Gallen going to be a ball player again here. And this is Allen. And he's one of the bigger 5'8s I've seen, I must say. History notwithstanding. And they're set out to the right here. Sumner through to Schmiedel. But they're handling them very well here, West. Macquarie not being given the opportunity to throw too much at them. And it might be the short side here on last. This is Sumner. Favielli. It's pretty simple here from Macquarie. And they're going to turn it over pretty meekly in the end. A set which didn't have too much venom about it, really. And West handled it very well.
Yeah, fairly uninspiring. I think despite the short ball there from Gallen on the left, there really wasn't too much going on there. But the West defence, it's why they've been one of the better sides for the last 5 or 6 years. And I think a lot of their games have been won off the fact that they're a very good side defensively. They don't let in too many points, and that was a great example of that.
Well, it was hard to get too much of a gauge on things last week in the quagmire, but they did defend very stoutly against Central and didn't give them an opportunity, and of course locked them out of scoring a try. Central's 4 points coming from 2 penalty goals, so if that's any indication of West defence, it's a pretty good one. And they're coming forward with the ball now. And this is the 11, that's Peter Mannion in his 150th game today, and that's a very, very nasty tackle. That's very nasty indeed. That's one of the worst spear tackles I've seen for a while. And Isaac Briggs is going to get a chat here from Tom Aylett, as is Andrew Sumner. And Macquarie are going to, West, are going to get a penalty. Always a worry when you see players turned over like that onto their heads.
Yeah, I don't know if there was too much behind it, but certainly once they get into that position, it always looks bad, and it's always going to be a penalty.
It's a force of gravity as much as anything else, isn't it? Now, that 17 out there is Callan Richardson, who's starting the game, you'll notice, on the right-hand wing for West. So there's a few pieces of chopping and changing in the early stages here as Tafua takes it forward, and this is now the 9, Chad Redmond, one of the 2 pieces of NRL experience brought into this West side in the off-season, Brad Tye being the other. And he'll be grateful for a drier track this week, you'd imagine. This is Tafua, eager for work as always. And they set out very deep on the left-hand side here with Redmond and Brown. And a short ball there, it's a beauty there to Herman, and he gets it away to Gordon, and West only need one chance to put their first points on of the day. That's a lovely bit of play. You could see them set out, and they executed it perfectly.
Yeah, the fullback, Brad Tye, was lining up near on the halfway line, and if you see where the play the ball was on the 20-metre line, so they were nearly 20 to 30 metres back there and beautifully set up. Chad Redmond there at a dummy half, and it's a fantastic ball, I think, from the 5'8" there, Joel Brown, to put the second row into the gap, and then Steve Gordon over for the try.
Well, they've got a new coach this year, of course, Steve Storey, and when plays from the training ground happen that nicely, coaches are entitled to be very pleased with their pre-season work, I think it's fair to say. So Steve Gordon gets the first try of the day, and now he's going to try and get the first conversion of the day. We've had 6 minutes of play here at Harker. Morgan Campbell and Matthew Peterson with you, and West lead at 4 points to 0. Last week, that cricket pitch in the middle of the park there, it looked like an Olympic swimming pool. It was just a complete mud pile, and they've obviously done a lot of work on it, because apart from a little bit around the edges, the rest of the ground looks fantastic.
Yeah, every time I come and commentate a game here or come and watch a game here, 1, it always seems to be raining, and 2, the cricket pitch always ends up very battle-scarred and not looking very good, which isn't good for a cricketer, can I just say?
Yeah.
Coming here and seeing the cricket pitch getting torn up.
We do have to think of the cricketers on days like this, don't we? I know cricket season's still about 7 months away, but even so, the first kick has gone over, so Steve Gordon converted the try.
But thankfully, the cricket square is looking intact at the moment, which is remarkable considering last week.
Yeah, if you saw it last week, I don't think I'd want to be facing seam-up bowling, but there's still time for it to get better, as Finn brings it back very strongly. He might not have NRL experience, but he's certainly been involved in the Knights setup for quite a while. And he's a big inclusion for West today and this season. Now, what's going on here? A bit of pedantry, perhaps, from Tom Aylett. Not happy with where Finn was playing the ball. He's been asked to go back about 3 inches. And now we can go on with the game. Referees, they're funny cats, aren't they? You know,
Yeah, but if you aren't going to draw a line at 3 inches, where are you going to draw a line?
Indeed. It's a slippery slope. As that ball looked like it came out there, and so David Dryden turns it over, and, well, Steve Storey might have been happy with the set play that led to the try. I don't think he'd be doing cartwheels about the handling so far from West coming off their own line. Macquarie with another opportunity.
Yeah, Jake Finn will be a very good pick-up for West. He didn't play too much with... Obviously, he was here, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, but then went to Lakes. Certainly will be a good pick-up. He didn't play much for Lakes last year. I think he was in amongst the Newcastle setup with the Premier League, but he's a very good player. Not the biggest front row, but runs hard and always seems to break tackles and get into holes quite easily. Now, that was Matt Hay over there who was tackled with the ball. Now, he's wearing the number 3, and Favielli's wearing the number 4. As I said before, Macquarie, they like to do this. They like to set a bit of a brain teaser for Bar TV. Bit of a challenge each week as Allen turns it inside to Schmiedel, and he loves that, coming back inside. But that time he ran into Mark Tafua, which I don't think he would have loved. Here's Briggs.
They're rolling forward nicely in the forwards, Macquarie, but they need to do a bit better in the backs. As this is Cantor, and he's into a gap and he's pulled down. He wasn't far away there, Nathan Cantor. He's pushed back, there's no penalty, and they're set up left on last. Sumner, good ball there to Hay. Hay gets it back to Sumner. Sumner might have put that on the toe or might have spilled it. It's not going to matter because West fall on it. And another very stout set of defence from Western Suburbs on their own line. And now a barrelling tackle on Jake Finn, who's been very involved, but he came off second there. As West come forward, there's backs getting involved. That's Simon Williams with his first touch of the day. Porter, oh dear, he held that, but just barely. But they're spinning their wheels a little bit here, West, coming off their line. Now it's Brown. And that'll be Herman out there again. Dangerous runner and good offload as well. And now they're off down the wing with Alatini. He got 2 last week. He might get another one here. If he can beat a couple more defenders, he's into the Macquarie half. And that's a very strong run from Willis Alatini. Forward they come. They've got the roll happening now. And this is Porter. There's numbers there if they can get it wide. They can. Williams. He's got Richardson outside him. But he hoofs it downfield and it was probably a little bit wasteful in the end. And Ryan Pywell's able to bring it back. It was a pretty tame end to a set that was gathering steam.
Yeah, started very slowly, but that fantastic breakdown here on the left. And look, that's the danger with West is not only can they beat you in the forwards, but they've certainly in Brown and Porter have got 2 very, very experienced and very, very good halves.
Very sharp with those edge back rollers as well. And we've seen it twice now from Matt Herman, the offload causing problems. And Peter Mannion's been carting it strongly on the right as well. There's threats all over the field. As Allen gives this to Schmiedel. Didn't really get going last week, Josh Schmiedel against Cessnock. And he's knocked this on, I think. He has. Just on the edge of the cricket pitch there. So Macquarie turn it over and give West another golden opportunity here. A few mistakes in it from both sides early on. In yesterday's games, of course, Curry got the better of Maitland 28-16 and Lakes United went down. Last year's premiers copped their first loss of the year to South Newcastle, and a bit of a touch-up it was too. South were 18-4 in front at half-time and went on with it in the second half. So West with an opportunity to get an early edge on the side that pipped them for the minor premiership last year. But here they come with Mannion, and that was up around the head, and there'll be a penalty here. I think the biggest danger was a poke in the eye. There wasn't too much swinging arm or anything about it.
Yeah, it got him high, but I wouldn't say there was too much venom behind it at all.
No.
Just on those results, certainly an even competition. I know we said this last year with the 7 teams. Should I say 8 teams?
No easy games,
No, not at all. And I think the season showed that last year with Central, obviously coming last for a lot of the year, then just stormed home. And I think it'll be very similar this year.
Here's Brown. He's got a bit of space here, and Cantor had to come from fullback to clean him up. And that leaves Macquarie short. West is set up to this left-hand side, but this is very, very slow. And it eventually comes out. Must have been close to a penalty there as Porter goes short. Herman back inside to Gordon, and Gordon's elusive. But he's taken down. West's looking very, very sharp, close to the Macquarie line. Brown over there to Tafua. And Jake Finn, world's biggest dummy half, goes the short side. And this might be Mannion. He'd probably fancy a try in his 150th game. But they're going to go open with Brown onto the toe, and Simon Allen with a slips catch, but I think he knocked it on. He did. He covered the ground beautifully, but just got the fumbles at the critical moment.
Yeah, like David Boone there at short leg, wasn't he?
It was.
Low and quick and looked very good at it then, fumbled at the last moment. Jake Finian there, twice into dummy half.
Yes.
Quite decent balls for a front row.
Revolutionary, isn't it?
Chad Redmond looked like he's a bit lame in the arm there. He certainly...
Lame in the arm?
Lame in the arm,
I've never heard that expression before. I like it though.
Lame in the legs, lame in the arm.
Lame in the arm. All right, fair
Which
enough.
is bad for a dummy half.
It's not ideal. Here's Gordon. They've got them stacked over this side, and this is Brad Tye, who's just crabbing towards the line. A full set of 6 here. Gordon into dummy half. Herman, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, The less said about that, the better, I think. Just a pretty standard fumble there from Matt Herman, and now a penalty because the gentleman who picked it up was offside. So Macquarie get away with it and get a bit of extra ground as well. I'm going to put something to you here, Matthew. Do you think penalty kicks for touch have become more conservative in the last couple of years?
Well, that one about 8 metres.
Yeah.
At the very most, it's certainly, I tell you what, almost went over the fence here, which is quite deep. It's a good 40 metres back from the actual ground.
It had plenty of hoof behind it, but the angle wasn't quite right. No, I think this is a noticeable trend. Kickers are happy to snip 10 or 15 metres as Allen sticks it on the boot. I reckon he wouldn't have had a kick in first grade for a while. That's not a baddie either. Falls for Alatini, who, in the end, picked a few fights that he couldn't win and went a few metres backwards. So Brad Tye has to bring it back. Oh, dear. The fumble's a little bit contagious here, but he recovered well. Richardson into dummy half. He does this a lot for Wests, bringing it out of dummy half when his forwards are recovering. Did it very nicely there. And so Redmond, lame in the arm, but decent in the foot, just hoofs it downfield early in the set and makes these Macquarie forwards lumber back. And they're still making the ground fairly slowly. Gallen's just at the 40-metre line. He'll be just coming into your shot. So maybe that early kick's not a bad tactic. It's warm enough here today for forwards to get tired. And we have the first get 'em on side of the day from someone in the crowd. So it's good to know the auxiliary referees are in fine voice early on. And Macquarie building nicely. That's a horror pass, though, from Simon Allen. And Schmiedel would have needed doctor's hands to catch that one. So Wests with 6 tackles here and already into Macquarie territory.
Yeah, you got a few of the Macquarie boys lining up in positions that they probably aren't accustomed to. Obviously, they're 2 big signings over the off-season, Daniel Abraham and Briggs. Both guys who possibly could have been playing at 5'8", and both of them suffering broken arms. So I think the Macquarie boys are a bit under strength, but look, certainly with Andrew Sumner there at halfback, they've got a pretty steady hand.
You're right, there's been an outbreak of arm lameness at Macquarie. But West's again in good field position. Another chance here. Redmond snapping at a dummy half and giving it to Finn. And did anyone get the number of that bus? He's in under the posts and there weren't much stopping him. A couple of Macquarie defenders flew out and tried, but he was always favourite from there. Great play from Chad Redmond, directed the attack, and Wests have a 10-0 lead, soon to be 12.
Yeah, since he's come back to Newcastle, Finn, he's as I said, he's not the biggest front rower. Certainly not in this game anyway, but runs hard and runs very good lines, and that was a perfect example of that. Just got in between 2 defenders and did it quite easily in the end.
Well, it's the difference in the game so far. 17 minutes gone here. They've had about equal opportunities in each other's 20-metre zone, but West have found 2 tries, and Macquarie thus far haven't.
Yeah, Macquarie just lacking that killer punch. I think they don't seem to have the fluidity in the halves that West do. Possibly, obviously Sumner for many, many years was playing as a dummy half rather than as a halfback. I think he might have made the transition last year to play in the halves, but just don't have perhaps maybe the same cohesion as Brown and Porter. And Porter obviously has been one of the better players, if not the best halfback in the real NRL for a good 4 or 5 years now.
That was certainly the story last week as Gordon puts the kick over. Macquarie's attack last week was exactly that. It was just clunky. Never quite came together for them. And they had a fair few chances against Cessnock and didn't take them. And there's signs of that here already in this first quarter of the game. So they find themselves kicking off for the 3rd time today. And it's Matt Herman who takes it over there. Slow play the ball. There was a change for Macquarie while that kick was being taken. Number 18, Matt Jeffrey, is on the field, and he replaced number 10, Adam Swaddling. So Matt Jeffrey's just about to make this tackle. There he goes on Mark Tafua. And Tafua gets it away. Now West are rolling. Finn. And Blake Gallen said, I'll take care of you. Got him down low. Short side with Brown. And Ty. Hasn't seen too much space so far. But they're doing their best to get him involved. And this is Dryden. Very strong run and strong collision as well. They're making metres very easily here at the moment. This is Brown again. And a challenge here. And it's Pywell who's under it, and he comes second there. But it's taken eventually. And it might have been Kukar Smith, in fact, in the 5. But they're going to say 5th tackle changeover on a Macquarie ball. But a bit of a nervous moment there under the high ball.
Yeah, worrying signs for Macquarie that they just marched upfield with ease. Not too much Westwood doing rather than just the one out, but making very, very easy metres in the forwards.
So Macquarie needing to lift here. Needing their forwards to lift them. As Kuka Smith brings it back. And that'll be Matt Jeffrey with his first carry. And Simon Allen gets it away to Schmidl. So they're moving up the field fairly slowly so far. They've made about 12 metres on their original position. This is Favielli. And there's 4 in the tackle there for West. They're keen and they're up quickly and choking Macquarie off. Huge appeals for a penalty here. And Aylett's unmoved, and suddenly it's a bit disorganised, and Schmidl has to take it back himself. And he makes a bit of ground. But on last tackle, they're not in West's half. And so Allen punches it long again. And it's Gordon filling in back there. Jermaine Ale in the 5 is on the bench. He started there. That's why Callan Richardson is out on the wing. And West can come back with it again. Here's Steve Gordon. But as you said, Matthew, the ground is just coming a bit easier to them. Richardson holding the ball in 2 hands. And it's Williams. And this will be Peter Mannion marching into them, and they're well placed here. They might put it to the sky again, you'd imagine. And it's Porter. But he doesn't. He just dabs it in behind, and Cantor has to pick it up off his laces. It was pretty good skill in the end, and Macquarie are able to settle. But again, it's that old story. Give them the ball where you want them to have it. Macquarie having to start a set a metre out from their own line.
Yeah, another good set from West, but it's very unsurprising. They're a very well-disciplined team. They're now 12 ahead. They're just going to play it safe, I think, here from here, and wait to see what Macquarie does. Macquarie have been struggling out their own end here. They're making, 20 to 30 metres, while West are just marching down the field with 70 to 80 metres quite easily.
A fumble there for Isaac Briggs, who then thought he'd take a moment and point at one of the defenders. But Noble's out of dummy half here, and he jams this long. And Gordon will pick this up. And he's got plenty of acres to run into.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of positional switch. Looks like Gordon's gone to the back there, and Brad Tyer's dropped into that centre position on the left here. Obviously spent a lot of his NRL career on the centre, in the centres or on the wing. So for a guy of his experience, I don't think it matters where you really put him.
No, I suppose the thing with fullback is he can turn up on either side of the field, but they've got that flexibility. There's a few guys out there who can play different positions, and here's Matt Herman. He only plays second row, but he got it inside to Ty, who was tackled on suspicion, I think, and that's certainly what Tom Aylett thinks. It was pretty close. It was almost simultaneous, but Brad Ty dropped the ball, and the referee says that contact was just a little bit too early. There couldn't have been much in it. But again, West starting a set of 6 from about the 20-metre line. Now, someone's had a word. I think someone might have had some advice for Tom Aylett here. It's Teeson Favielli. One of the changes with the Real NRL this year is that the referees are not mic'd up. They haven't got sponsorship at the moment to mic themselves up to pay for the microphones. So we're working on analogue communication flags and semaphore.
A lot
and
of
yelling.
body language.
That's right.
I took that course over the summer.
Yeah, that's good. Here's Mark Tafua. And West's with a big chance here. This would be a real sickener for Macquarie. It's inside. It's Jake Finn again. He's a chance. Dave Dryden's a chance as well. But he's taken down. Redmond's got a bit of ground to cover here. He's going to look for Tafua. But he decides to go himself. And they're trying it through the middle at the moment. West. Porter's in a dummy half. He gives it to Finn again. And Finn, he's not too far away. But he's turned it over. And so Macquarie get away with it. And it's a knock-on from West. So that's a terrific result from Macquarie because they were teetering there.
Yeah, a very ambitious reach out there from Finn. He looked like he was about 3 or 4 more metres short, but he must have thought he was much closer and just reached out like I think all prop forwards do, especially when you're on the possibility of getting a double, which you don't see very often.
Indeed, I mean
props.
you can't knock that chance back, can you? Really? I can sympathise. But yes, we discussed on the match last week between Macquarie and Cessnock this trouble with the communications. I'm suggesting maybe pigeons. Maybe if you give the linesman a carrier pigeon to sort of run messages out onto the field, if that seems common sense to me.
I think that's fair.
It seems a cheaper alternative as well, you know. Obviously, they'd have to be trained and fed, but...
Well, it's job creation, isn't it?
Well, what does bird feed cost? I mean, really. Now, Macquarie have a penalty, and they need it. And Cantor with another unambitious
7 metres,
kick for touch, shall we say? Yeah, about that. Isaac Briggs has come from the field.
And he's kicked it to the boundary too, which is the best part. So the poor old winger's trudging out there.
Yep.
He'll pick it up. Yeah, I've even noticed in the actual NRL, let's call it, the professional guys, they very conservative with their kicks.
Now Matt Hay, it is, who steams that back like a forward. It's Adam Grew who's onto the field in 16 for Isaac Briggs, and he should get the ball shortly, but this is Jeffrey. Grew's lined up for this hit up on the right-hand side of the ruck. But they go the other way. And Brock Harmer, who spent last year at Curry, he's been involved with Canterbury in the past and also with Wyong in the New South Wales Cup. Sumner away to Gallen. Gallen out the back there to Allen. And Allen bumping forward. Something incredibly humorous has obviously happened in the crowd, because there was a ruckus there as Allen brought the ball forward, and Sumner's going to stick this on the boot. And Blake Gallen chasing through on the kick. He was well positioned, but he's not exactly Billy Slater. And Wests are able to take the ball and start again.
Yeah, Macquarie yet to put in a very dangerous kick at all, I don't think. I think West have coped with it quite well. There's a few times they've got down to West's end and haven't even kicked the ball on it, but they've rather run on the fifth tackle. So, look, that's something I think they want to improve in this last 13 minutes and certainly in the second half, to put in a bit more dangerous kick, or at least possibility of a repeat set.
Now, that was a very big charge indeed. That was Reggie Saunders, and he's onto the field for Jake Finn. And it's one of the great advantages that West have, that they can take Jake Finn off and throw Reggie Saunders on, and Macquarie probably won't, as far as the contact goes, notice much difference, because they're big fellas who hit very hard. That kick just rolled into touch, and I think West at the moment seem pretty content just to play a controlled game and let time tick along at the moment.
Well, they're not doing much wrong at all. They're making a lot of easy metres. They're really hitting Macquarie hard in defence. Macquarie are really struggling to get out of their own end. There's not much more that you'd want West doing at the moment. But I think Reggie, he's got to be the biggest man in the real NRL this year.
I'd reckon. I haven't seen every team play yet, but I can't think of anyone bigger. As here's another penalty to Macquarie. So West, it must be said, have been giving a few away. And that will displease Coach Story, because if it wasn't for that, Macquarie would be pretty well bogged down in their own half. Now that had a bit of punch about it. That was a solid 15 metres. was one of the better ones today. So Macquarie looking to build a bit of pressure of their own here. What you said is absolutely right. The last tackles haven't been coming up with the right plays. Matt Jeffries lining up for a run. It's out the back to Allen, and the cutout ball would have been all right if Favielli had been able to catch it. It was a very dangerous pass. Just a bit low. Asked a bit too much of him.
Yeah, I think all Macquarie fans had the heart in the mouth because I think the centre over here, Brad Tye, was looking and looming large, and I thought he was going to come right out of the line and sprint away quite easily for a try, but yeah, Favielli, you can't blame him much there. That was down around the bootlaces there. But something that they just didn't need to do to press on the third, or I think it was second or third tackle. They just haven't been able to get to their fifth tackle and put in a dangerous kick or get a repeat set or build any sort of pressure really against West. West are doing this quite easily at the moment. Even giving away this penalty or two, they're easily coasting at this stage.
Yeah, the mistakes they are making are going pretty well unpunished as West bring it forward again, and we've seen them with the ball early in the tackle count in this part of the field quite a few times. And forward they come again. That looks like number 16 for West. So no, number 15. That might be Mark Farrer out there for his first touch of the day. Now Brown and Brad Tye. He was strong through the contact with Favielli there. And it's Saunders. The Macquarie defenders had a choice between Mark Tafua and Reggie Saunders there. Lucky them. Last tackle. And it'll be Herman. And Herman's put it on the boot. I love it when second rowers kick the ball, and it nearly came up for them there. And I think he's going to say six again. He is. So West with another opportunity here. He didn't wave six more, but he's allowed the tackle count to go on. This is Herman. It was definitely last tackle when Herman put the kick in. So by my count, that might be third. Brown, long ball, and that's an absolute coward pass out the back to Porter, who lost a fair bit of ground with the ball there. And then Gallen hits him hard. That's what they need from Macquarie, a bit of lift in defence. Now it's Farrer. West building again, last tackle. And it's Tafua getting the ball on last. And now Brown in behind, and it's going to beat them, I fear. Yes, it is. So Pywell and Cantor were able to just watch that trickle dead. And Macquarie, well, they're hanging in. They're close enough. If they can start to put things together, they're close enough.
Yeah, West making their third change there. Redmond coming off a Knight, and Knight obviously was a mainstay for West last year, dummy half, so they're not really losing too much there.
Well, I think the oxygen tank might be needed for Adam Bettridge today. Macquarie again turning it over here. They're absorbing pressure and then bringing more upon themselves. You're right, though, about Chris Knight. I think he's probably unlucky. He's entitled to feel a little bit aggrieved that after his performances last year, West went and signed an NRL hooker to replace him because he was one of their best players all season.
Yeah, certainly not the... If he was playing at other clubs, he would be the starting hooker. So he's a very, very handy guy to have come off the bench and give someone like Redmond, who does have the NRL experience.
Dear. Well, it's descended. Steve Gordon got the fumbles over there. And so it's a bit of a...
But you get this with the early season, don't you?
You do. You do. And it's... I mean, look, it's not great rugby league, but it is funny. So that's something, you know. That's a...
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, Macquarie got decent field position. This is Gallen away to Schmiedel, and Schmiedel's the man that needs to light a bit of a fuse here.
Yeah, Schmiedel looks like the one that's going to be... well...
That was Cantor, but my point stands. So, Sumner out of dummy half. I don't know what they were trying to do there, but it didn't work. And finally, Wests are going to fall on the ball, but they're going to say knock on against Wests. So Macquarie, after a fairly inadvisable set piece there, are going to get the ball back in decent field position, with 7 minutes to go in the first half and the score at 12-0.
Descending. Comedy of errors.
Messy.
Marx Brothers style there, wasn't it?
Yep.
But this is, as I said, you get this in the early season. Guys obviously it's a long off season. You don't play too many games now in the real NRL in the 14 games plus finals. So look, some of these guys wouldn't have played football for 6 or 7 months now. So not surprising that a few of them may become fatigued and you get the drop ball. But look, I think if Macquarie can get on the board here, they'll be very satisfied with 12-4 or 12-6 at half time.
So that was Schmiedel trying to get involved, and now here's Matt Jeffrey. And they're deep on both sides. They've got the flying V happening here. This is Gallen, and he probably played the wrong pass there, but they're going to get away with it. And now Cantor, who's very slippery from close to the line, and I think he might have got it down. No, he didn't. Gallen's in a dummy half. And it must have been touched there, you'd imagine. Sumner, Allen, they have got numbers out here if they can use it. Allen's going to go at himself. Oh, the world's biggest 5'8", comes up with a beauty. That's what they needed.
And didn't he move like Anthony Milford there?
Absolutely.
Ducked one, ducked two, in through the hole.
It was beautiful work. He bobbed and weaved and created space.
But that's what they needed, Macquarie. They've certainly been behind the first 35 minutes of this game. They haven't looked like scoring at all. And look, fantastic work there from Allen from what appeared to be another comedy.
The bouncing ball, Matthew. It does it any time there's a bouncing ball. You've got to be on guard because it causes a little bit of trouble in the defence.
Certainly wasn't crisp service out of dummy half.
No. No, I don't think Blake Gallen will be shifting into the 9 anytime soon.
But it brings them back into this game. That's the main
big try. 12-4, should be 12-6. West could have punched it out to 18 or 24-0 with all the possession they've had. But Macquarie have been good enough to keep holding on and now take a chance. And it sets the scene well for the rest of this game. Now 3 and 6 has been announced as the double. If you were at the game today and you're rewatching this evening, and you had 3 and 6 in the double, well, you're buggered. You've done yourself out of 100. You mentioned the draw, Matthew, and the lack of games. They're playing 16 games this year. Everybody plays each other twice, and then there's some sort of bizarre, almost Harry Potter-style selection for the other 2 games.
How's that going to happen?
I'm not sure. I'm not privy to these things, but the draw's been done. They worked it out somehow. I'm not sure quite how, but yeah, so everybody plays each other once, and then some teams play each other twice. Thrice, sorry, yeah. It's very curious. My plan, of course, was to have a split draw. Have you heard about this concept? Everybody plays each other twice, and then the top 4 play each other another time, and the bottom 4 play each other another time, and that gets you 17 games. But as yet, that proposal lies dormant.
See, I'd like to see all teams play each other 4 times.
Sure,
28 round.
I'd be up for that.
I think the fans of Bar TV would really appreciate that, and I'm sure the players would really enjoy it as well.
My word, playing 28 games and then heading into the finals, fantastic. I think the contracts, everybody having to get paid twice as much. Now here's Simon Allen, the Milford lookalike, and he punches this kick long. There's 3 minutes left here. I reckon Macquarie would take half time now, having got themselves back into it. And Alatini brings it back. But that was a better set. They've got a little bit more spring about them all of a sudden, and a bit of lift in defence as well. And it's encouraging. Bettridge, he's got something to work with at half time, you suspect. And Richardson's going to volunteer for a bit of work here. And does it well. Both sides have made their mistakes in this game. And there's an outside pass there, a bit of an offload, and it was tipped on very neatly by Ty. And if Brown had been able to get that wide, Macquarie were desperately short.
Yeah, very good tackle from Fiavielli there. He wrapped him right up because Brown, there was, I think, a 3-man overlap on the left
right.
here.
Heavy tackle on Farah. Now they come, the up and under. I don't know if that's where it was meant to go, but it's not bad. And Gordon, in the end, I think he copped a push in the back from his teammate.
Yeah, a fantastic try-saving tackle there from Peter Mannion.
Indeed. I think if we look at now we don't have the replay function on the delayed stream. So if you're watching this at home, you've just got to pick the little thing up down the bottom of the screen on the YouTube channel.
Drag it back a little bit.
That's it.
A little bit, not too far.
Back to where you want to go. And
otherwise
then
you'll see
again.
the second West try if you go back too far.
Yeah, that's right. Just a little bit. 30 seconds and watch it again. So you'll have a better idea than us. As there's a minute to go now. But Wests have thrown the ball up high twice, and on both occasions, it's been a very close run thing for points. As here's Schmiedel up to halfway. Allen and Grew.
Fantastic cost-saving initiative here from West. They've only got a clock that goes down by 2.
Yeah, that's right. 2 seconds at a time. As here's Noble. Oh, and Harmer was under a lot of pressure there, and he's held it very well and got it away. Maybe there's a chance here as the half runs out. It's 15 seconds to go as Noble goes infield. There's one play left here. 10 seconds left. Maybe something. Sumner with a bit of space. Chip and chase is on. Here comes Cantor. Can he get the ball down? I think he might have. I think he may have. No, he's gone dead. They've got away with it. But that was a bit of brilliant play to finish the first half. And what encouragement it'll offer Macquarie heading into the break. They looked in huge trouble 10 minutes ago. They were spinning their wheels and going nowhere. But a try from Simon Allen and then a late bit of quality from Andrew Sumner offers them plenty of encouragement. It's 12-6 to West at half-time. Matthew, your thoughts on that first half?
Yeah, West the dominant side for 34, 35 minutes. But Macquarie got themselves back in, and I think that's all that matters going into half-time. Really, West could have been 24-0 at least going into half-time, but I think Macquarie have done a fantastic job to withstand the pressure and at least give themselves a real good shot coming into the second half.
Exactly right. Both coaches have got things they'd be happy with, but both coaches have got plenty to work with as well. We'll be back in a few minutes with the second half. It's Morgan Campbell and Matthew Peterson with you here at Harker Oval. We'll be back shortly with the second half between West and Macquarie. It's 12-6 at the break. Welcome back to Harker Oval. We're ready for the second half here as Macquarie make their way out onto the ground. Perhaps a little bit of gamesmanship from them. They took a fair while to gradually stagger out there. Wests were left idly loitering for a few minutes while Macquarie made their way out. But we're ready to go now. Steve Gordon's got the ball on the tee and the second half is about to get underway. Matthew, what do Macquarie need to do if they're going to win this game this afternoon?
Look, their biggest problem at the moment is just not being able to hold onto the ball, and I think that was a pretty good example of just complete your sets, get down the other end, get a kick in, build a bit of pressure. That's the one thing they just haven't been able to do all day, and it's the one thing probably West have done in all game is just being able to build pressure, build pressure, build pressure. They probably haven't been able to capitalise on that pressure, but it's building the pressure that gets you into the position where you can score points, and I don't think Macquarie have done that one bit yet.
That last 10 minutes, it did show they've got the individual skills out on the field to cause West problems, particularly down the middle, it seemed. So
I think that's what they got in the forwards with the Briggs boys. Gallen, obviously Allen playing at 5'8", built like a second rower or a front rower. So they've certainly got enough there in the forwards where guys had a bit of ball playing.
Now, this is an interesting kick, but it just fell into the arms of Callan Richardson. It was almost 40-20 territory there. But at the very least, they've finished the first set, got to their fifth and kicked the ball away. So for that, you'd imagine Adam Bettridge will be pleased. And it's Wests who have to bring it away. We've got the ground announcer getting very cross with a couple of kids who are inside the fence down there on the in the corner in the West's half of the field. They don't seem to be budging though, unfortunately, as forward come West. And this is Farah. And now Saunders. And they wrap the ball up, and I think that's pretty advisable. We saw his offload in the first half. So they come away. And the kick's just jabbed in behind there by Joel Brown. He's had a pretty steady hand on things so far. Hasn't been too involved, but the touches he has had been very calm. And so they bring it away. They've got a little bit of a roll on early here from Favielli, but it comes to an abrupt end, and now the ball comes out. They might say knock on. I suspect they will. Favielli, who was parallel to the ground, trying to get an offload away, and that's a very high degree of difficulty.
Yeah, just didn't need to do that. Was forcing something that really wasn't on the second tackle. They had made that nice quick scoot out of dummy half. They're on the 40-metre line on the second tackle, and just threw it away. And that's what they've been doing all game, just haven't been able to build that pressure at all.
Well, now they're going to see a bit of it themselves, because West have a feed and Knight fizzes a ball out at the back of the scrum, and forward comes Mannion. So they start a set 30 metres out. Knight away there, and it's Farah. And Knight's busy in at dummy half. He's looking for runners again. He finds Tafua. He's got Reggie Saunders with him, but Tafua's going to go himself. He'll be tough to stop from there. The ball comes out, and I think Macquarie are going to fall on it. It might have been stripped, I suspect, because it came spewing forth. And I think after a consultation with Greg Ryan, that's what Aylett's going to say. It's going to be a dropout for Macquarie. But Mark Tafua there. Brock Harmer was hanging on desperately, but he very nearly got trampled.
Well, there's not much you can really do, is there?
I wouldn't have thought so. Once he's got the momentum, they ended up doing pretty well to strip the ball. But it's a roundabout way to build pressure. And Chris Knight has the ball, and he'll give it to the other big unit, Reggie Saunders. There's no respite in the middle of the park for Macquarie. There's not going to be a moment in this game where they don't have a big cannon being aimed straight at them. So Farah away to Tafua. It's a 1-2 punch, and he's causing a bit of trouble early in this half. That's another good run. Josh Schmiedel, he's far from a weak link in defence, but he was pushed a fair way back there, and now it's Porter. And Porter just throws about 17 dummies there and finally hits a bit of contact. Inside, this is a good chance for Williams, and he's still bobbing and weaving. And they're very well placed. Richardson at dummy half. He likes the dive over from dummy half. He's tried it on again. It didn't work that time, but he does that a fair bit. Good ball across to Porter. Now Farah. They look very, very short on Macquarie's right-hand side. West's left, and they're aiming numbers that way now. They need to slide, but they go back the other side tonight, and Saunders will switch and turn and get the ball down. They stacked the numbers to the left and then went back to the right, and Chris Knight's a very, very clever dummy half, and West score the crucial first try in this second half.
One-on-one, you're never going to stop Reggie Saunders from that distance. 1 or 2 metres out, he just flung the defender off him quite easily. And look, it's what's always going to happen if you just continually allow West on your line. Is they're such a good side, they're so well organised in the halves. With Chris Knight or Redmond out there, you've got a very good rake. So look, it was bound to happen. I think Macquarie really have shot themselves in the foot there, giving the ball up very cheaply twice there.
I think you're absolutely right. Now, Andrew Sumner's having a word. I suspect it's a report from linesman McInnes. Very lengthy chat here from Tom Aylett. I don't know what he's saying. As we said, we don't have ref mics this year, so we can't get that insight into the little chats that the refs have with the players.
I think they're discussing whether the GST should be raised or not.
I think that's probably right.
It's probably the time to do it.
Yeah. What's your view on state income tax, superannuation concessions, all that stuff that naturally comes up in the course of a rugby league game? As Gordon goes back and comes forward and puts it over. So West jump out to an 18-6 lead. The 12-point lead from the first half is restored. And Macquarie, they've got to go right back to the bottom of the mountain again. So probably a pretty definitive passage of the game coming up now as Reggie Saunders brings it forward. The next try going to be so important, and there's been a knock-on here, and he set a knock-on. I suspected Aylett was going to look for a penalty there, but no, they've turned it straight over. First tackle after points. One of those things that causes coaches to lose their hair. And so Macquarie get a chance to whack them straight back. So it's Noble at the base of the scrum. Off there to Allen. Favielli's out in the back line. He gets past one. He might get past another there. It's a good run from Thiessen Favielli. He's very, very strong. And this looks like the number 2, Ryan Pywell, bringing it infield. Noble's in at dummy half. Schmiedel. They need this sort of running from him. That was a good carry. They've got a few tackles in hand here. And it's out there to Swaddling, who just plays a pass to Adam Grew. And he was like he was walking the dog on a Sunday afternoon across the road at Lambton Park. A lovely pass at the line from Adam Swaddling, who might be having a crack at 5'8" next week if Simon Allen goes down. And Macquarie, well, the 6-point deficit might be back.
I really wish we had the replay for that, because that was sublime football there from Swaddling. As I said at the beginning of this half, a few of the forwards in the Macquarie pack really do have a bit of ball playing. The Briggs boys and Gallen is certainly someone who will slip into that 5'8" role, but Swaddling there, hands like Peter Neville.
I know, he wasn't, not someone...
Surgeon hands.
Indeed. Wicketkeeper's hands. It's not someone you expect to be promoting the ball at the line.
And didn't they like it too? All the Macquarie boys really went up for that.
Well, perhaps mostly out of confusion, shock. What just happened? Anyway.
But it brings them back again, Macquarie.
It does.
And West will be ruining that drop ball from Reggie Saunders.
Yeah, he scored one up the Macquarie end of the field and then dropped it coming off his own line. So
it's a funny game, isn't it? To quote Phil Gould.
It's a funny game, yeah. So Favielli with a chance to restore the gap to 6. And you're right, West will be cursing that. Over it goes.
Good crowd as usual here at West's. I think it's one of the few grounds where you can sit in your car and bask in the sun.
Yep. And it's one of the few grounds where you can park your car around the perimeter and you're not a chance of needing the people at Koala Glass through the week, which is a very good touch because you're a fair way away over there. I'm not a big fan of sitting in the car, I must say. It's just generally, I sort of find it uncomfortable, but some people like it. Good luck to them. Oh, there might have been a drop ball there, but they get away with it. So it's Isaac Briggs coming forward. No, in fact, it's Grew, who'll be full of running after his first try. It's good for a bench forward to get the nudie run out of the equation early in the season. You'd be very pleased with that. Had a good, strong game against Cessnock last week as well. Now Sumner. Over to Harmer. And Gallen, that pass looked flat at best. But forward they come. And this has been a good set. A bit of running in the legs now. And they're going to run the ball, at least as far as Simon Allen, who sends this into orbit. And back they go. Alatini's dropped it. If Sumner can get a kick on it, and Cantor can get a kick on it, they'll fall on it. It's Josh Schmiedel, in fact, who falls on the ball. It's one of the most bizarre tries you'll see, because there was more soccer than rugby league. But read about it in the paper tomorrow, dude, because Macquarie are about to be level.
Don't know what to say.
Schmiedel.
Really do not know what to say.
What can you say? It was bizarre.
It looked as though Macquarie were going to run that. When Sumner got the ball at first receiver there, it looked as though that they may spread it wide, but Allen's really gave it the big old up and under there, the old Gary Owen.
Indeed. As I said on the call live, it went into orbit. It was a big booming kick. And Alatini just got caught under the ball there, twisting and turning.
But it's the beauty of this game.
Indeed.
West looked like they were going to break away there when Reggie Saunders did it easy, get over the line. And now, really, Favielli should boot this over to level the scores up with 30 minutes to go.
Well, I said when West scored that try, Macquarie are back to the bottom of the mountain. They're on a jet ski. They've roared to the top.
Small mountain.
Yeah, not
Kosciuszko
not
size.
Huge. Yeah. Oh, I was thinking more of Yakaba.
Sugarloaf?
Yakaba,
really?
Yeah, you can do that in about half an hour, but the point stands. It's going to be 18 all unless something kooky happens here. Well, there it is. So West have scored a try to go 12 points clear, and before they've had the ball back, they're level. Bizarre. And Andrew Sumner, with the presence of mind, to just jab the boot at it when Alatini got the fumbles, and then Schmiedel who I mistook again for Cantor, towing it ahead.
He's everywhere, Schmiedel.
Falling on the ball. Yes, well, I did say he needed to have an impact. I didn't expect it to be that. And a big charge. Macquarie. They're bulking up here. They're keen for work. Here's Adam Grew. And there's a bit of niggle out there as well. Inside it comes to Harmer, who's been very willing all day. And it's Grew again. Second run in the set. It's about his fourth in the last 2 sets. And they'll come out here to Gallen. They've still got another tackle left. So Gallen can just go north-south here. And they're on halfway. Last. Allen away. And Allen puts it on the toe here. He's going to get the kicking duties full time if he keeps going like this. That's a lovely kick. And Brad Ty's got plenty to do. And he's pretty well wrapped up, although it's a good fight. But Macquarie are on the rise here. And there's a few West players who are a little bit slowly back. Their next couple of games, Macquarie have got Curry at home. Macquarie's first home game next week. And then they're home again. Oh, no, they're not. They're away. They're away to Maitland. So a couple of games they'd probably fancy themselves in. West have got Maitland away next week, and then South at home here in the Derby the week after.
So they haven't taken a home game to Maitland, NRL style,
No.
taking a home game away to Perth.
To get the crowd? No, that's right. And so it's Cantor, who will come into the game if the West forwards get tired. And now it's Kukar Smith, who didn't play in round 1. Joe Layton was in the side in round 1, but was very, very heavily concussed. And it's no surprise that he's not in the side today. This is Pywell, the other winger, turning up on that side of the field. And now Grew. And it takes 3 to finally subdue him. And Schmiedel. And again, they're up to halfway as the hand goes in the air. Matt Jeffrey's getting ready on the touchline as there's going to be a kick here from Sumner. And again, ready for the snow. Down it comes. Richardson's under pressure, but he does very well. He's a representative winger, and you can see why. He's very, very good under the high ball. There's big problems here for Matt Hay. I think we might have a stoppage here. I'm not sure if our pictures are picking it up, but Matt Hay is in huge trouble, writhing around on the ground just behind the West line as Jermaine Ailes on the field and bringing it forward. But Macquarie have got 12 here in the defensive line because Matt Hay is in a fair bit of distress. And we'll stay with the action as West come forward. And this is Finn back on the field, and he throws the dummy. Oh dear, there's some forwards with some gallop in them today. There's forwards throwing dummies, throwing face passes, stepping through the line. It's enough to bring a tear to the eye. Now here's Richardson. And Sumner knocks him over out there. They're still short in the defensive line though, Macquarie. So there's a big chance here for West if they run it, but they go to the sky. And Pywell, I think it is, who comes in, gets the fumbles. Big chance here for West. It'll be 6 to go, you'd imagine. Hay still hasn't got up. Surely there's an appeal to stop play here. The referee has stopped play now, but he's calling a 5th tackle, play the ball. So he's saying, obviously, that Ryan Pywell didn't touch the ball. If that's the case, he's got far better eyes than me.
Yeah, I thought certainly a Macquarie player got a hand on that and 6 to go to West, but...
Yeah, that's right. Now, I'm just counting the players out here. I think Macquarie have only got 13 in the line because Matt Hay still hasn't got up. He's still down on the 20-metre line up the West side of the ground. And they still haven't stopped play to allow him to get treatment and get off the field. Now Harmer's dropped the ball. It goes backwards eventually, but that'll be a knock-on. And surely now they can stop play because you can't have a player getting treated on the field. If there was a break-up field or something like that, he could be right in the firing line. He's coming off now, though, but needing a great deal of assistance. That's Matt Hay, and he's just coming off the ground after, I reckon, about 3 or 4 minutes on the turf. So there's going to be changes here. The 17 is coming on for Macquarie, and that's Matt Simon. So he's about to join the play. Ty Alchin in 15 is about to come on as well for his first involvement. But West break from the scrum. So there'll have to be a bit of a shift in the back line for Macquarie to accommodate that injury. This is Jermaine Ale playing in the forwards, gets it away to Jake Finn. He's playing in the forwards too, but he's got his second of the day. It's a front rower's paradise out there today. And Jake Finn has a double in round 2. And Wests are back in front.
For mine, the player in the park at the moment.
Yep.
Finn, he's been damaging. Every time he's had the ball, he's made breaks. He's really caused the Macquarie defence a lot of problems.
He's just hurling himself into them, isn't he?
But runs at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but hits the hole. And I think that's the main thing, really hitting the hole. And Sumner's been called out again. I can only imagine, I don't know what they're discussing now, perhaps tax concessions for high income, high superannuities. I don't know.
That's a possibility. Maybe the upcoming federal budget. The disturbance in the South China Sea. All the things that would normally come up in the course of a rugby league match. I suspect what's really going on out there is that the Macquarie players have been serving up a bit of back chat. We saw in the game yesterday Curry and Maitland. Maitland had Steve Waitford sin-binned for back chat in the first half. One of the 2 sin-binnings that Maitland suffered yesterday. So you've got to be careful what you say to referees. That's the message. And Steve Gordon should put West's 6 points in front. He does. So with 21 minutes to go here, West's 24, Macquarie 18. And this game, can I say, is bubbling away beautifully. Matt Hayes up on his feet and he's walking unassisted, but he's heading up the tunnel. I don't think we'll be seeing any more from him today. He seems to indicate it's around his sternum area, I think, which is the trouble. He looked very, very sore when he first went down. But good to see that he's up and about. So Wests, after Macquarie had the running, they were starting to really gallop. Wests have put a stop to it. And this is Reggie Saunders. Very long hold down in the play, the ball there from Alchin. Now it's Ale and Saunders. Right in the middle of the cricket pitch. It won't do too much damage after the weather we've had. I don't know if I'd want to be landing on it in a month's time. And it's going to be Joel Brown who kicks this downfield. It's not a bad kick. And it's a first touch there for Matt Simon, who had a nervous moment picking it up, but he does well. And Macquarie are a little bit slow to get back. So Cantor takes responsibility. The forwards are in place now. And it's Noble away there to Kuka Smith. And they're needing the backs. That probably gives you some indication of how the forwards are travelling. The fullback and the 2 wingers have taken the ball up for Macquarie here, and now Noble hoofs it downfield, just looking to turn West around. And Steve Gordon has dropped back to fullback again. He'll bring it back. And there might have been a bobble in there. There was. It's a big moment in the game. Macquarie get a huge chance, and now there's a bit of scrap between Sumner and Gordon, which doesn't amount to too much. But this is a big moment now. 20 metres out, centre field, full set of 6 points down.
It's where the game's ebbed and flowed today. Macquarie coming back into it, but then West pulling ahead. And look, if Macquarie can get back level here, it would not be certainly wouldn't be out of the ordinary, because just this game has just gone back and forth, and once one side's had an opportunity down the other end, they've capitalised on it.
Well, one of the scourges of modern rugby league, the reformed scrum.
I like the tediousness.
Isn't it great? In it goes. And eventually...
Funnily enough, same result.
Yeah, who'd have thought? Cantor. Incidentally, Mark Tafua and Reggie Saunders are now off the field, so this is a good opportunity for the Macquarie forwards, and they've seized it by throwing Isaac Briggs back on. Schmiedel went the old throw the pass to himself. Benji Marshall play there, which I love. And again, forwards doing all the work here. Now Gallen, and he throws a dummy and goes himself, and he's not far away. He's not far away at all. Noble, away to Sumner. Sumner flat there to Alchin, who's just onto the field, and he's just twisting and fighting there. Throwing a bit at them here. Noble, over the top there to Sumner. It's an ordinary pass. He's got excuses for fumbling it, but now they're running the wrong way. And Sumner gets it away now to Favielli, but they've lost at least 35 metres there, and it's taken all the sting out of that attack. That was a terrible result for them, and finally Sumner just punts it up into the air. And you'd imagine this will gain steam and just head over the dead ball line, will it? Yes. It was a nervous moment there for Callan Richardson, but a very disappointing set in the end. But they've knocked it on again. Well, they might pull this back. It's going to be a knock-on against Josh Schmiedel here. They're going to say he forced it out. So I think West are going to get this back. They are. That's lucky.
That was coronary material for the West coach.
I'd reckon.
To survive that set of 6 and then drop it on the first tackle. But I guess the way that the ball went, it was always clear that Schmiedel had got his hands onto it.
So West, having survived, start again, and now they've got a penalty, and there couldn't be a worse time to give away a penalty, I don't think, for Macquarie today. 16 minutes left here. They trail 24-18. And, that's not going to find touch. Oh, dear. Well, coronary material. Now there's a bit of a run-on from Matt Simon. It's not a baddie either. He's finally buried by Jermaine Hale, I think, who put a stop to it. But it was a decent little run there from Matt Simon. And now forward they come with Alchin. And there's a bit of a swinging arm in there. Getting a bit willing. Noble. Away to Briggs. Hard hit again. It's Farrow doing a lot of good tackling in the middle of the park. And there's a penalty here to Macquarie. They can reset the count. I can't imagine there'd be any thoughts of the goal.
Well, I reckon Joel Brown heard you in the first half and us going on about the conservative kick for touch.
Yep.
He's tried his arm and
that's probably why they do it.
Fantastic run there from Matt Simon.
It was. A bit of agility, and it'll come in handy late in the game as people get tired. Now there's a chance. A good ball out the back, and it's Jordan Noble. It's tackled just short. Sumner. Away to Allen, away to Schmiedel. He'll be hard to stop from there. He probably would have been better to go wide. They're set out to the right. They go to the left. It's Gallen, who does a bit of ballerina stepping. Schmiedel held it well. He decides to run backwards Tony Iro style, which I love. And finally, after a couple of dummies, he'll be wrestled down. They're a little bit disjointed here, Macquarie. They need to come up with something. 15 minutes to go. Gordon was up very, very quickly there, out of the line, and he made the tackle last here. Noble down the short side. Well, it's a risky play, and I don't think it's worked. No, it hasn't. I could see what he was looking for. There was a little bit of space out there, but last tackle, it's a big gamble to take when you're on their line, and Wests can bring it away. It's a good scrap now, Matthew. So Western Suburbs. Over there with Brown and now Herman. And Herman's been causing a fair bit of trouble out there today. And there was a fumble in there again. Oh, the fumbles are well and truly out now. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Macquarie are going to get another go.
Well, you can't say West aren't trying to keep them in the game here.
No, they're being very charitable. It warms the heart. It really does. I don't think it's going to warm the heart of their coach too much, but
I think the Bar TV viewers might think that this is a bit of a stitch up.
Well,
Just trying to keep the game interesting, Kerry Packer style.
Indeed. You know, that's the second week in a row Kerry Packer's got a mention on the delayed coverage.
People want it. People want more Kerry Packer
Well,
talk.
they'll be delighted with what we've had to offer so far, myself and Michael last week, and then you and me today. So Sumner finds Alchin, who's been running strongly since he came on, and that's another example. They've got plenty of tackles in hand here, Macquarie. Their halves need to find something. Gallen, Allen, Schmiedel. He's trying to isolate defenders. It hasn't quite come off for him yet, but while ever he's out there, they're a chance. Grew's in a dummy half. It's outside there to Allen, who throws a lovely ball to Cantor, who gets it away to Pywell, and he might have got that down. He hasn't. He hasn't. The flag is up. Read the semaphore. Touch judge Greg Ryan says no, and they'll have to bring it back in field for West to feed a scrum. It's a missed opportunity. It's a bullet avoided by West.
I'd really love an opportunity to say that it wasn't out, but we're so far away.
If you can see the line from here, you've got to be... Who's the one with X-ray vision? Spider-Man?
I think that's
Green
fair.
Lantern? I don't know.
Or just eating a lot of carrots.
Yeah,
Just
Joe
back-to-back
Burns style.
carrots,
Yeah. Yeah. If you'd have been eating carrots for 3 months, I still don't reckon you'd have been able to see that.
No, I think that's fair.
Well, by my count, and I'll admit maths is not really my shtick, but I think West have turned it over 3 times in a row coming off their own line.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Certainly, I can't remember them putting together a set of 6 in the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Not really. They've had a couple of knock-ons and they've had the kick that didn't go out. I never understand why kickers are so brazen, why they're not just conservative with their kicks for touch. And finally a penalty. So West, well, this time, an opportunity to just, if nothing else, get the play away from their own...
And hopefully get into
zone.
touch.
Well, that would be interesting. Let's see what he comes up with.
I believe that brazenness is what caused the 2008 global financial crisis.
Indeed.
And certainly much more conservative, much more in line
That'll
of
be
2016 economics.
Yeah, the Big Short 2, I believe, is going to be all about kicks for touch in rugby league. So it's Jake Finn, the cannonball. And Blake Gallen's trying to take control of him here. And they did reasonably well that time. With 11 minutes to go, you'd think another West try here, and it's probably Betty Buys, but they've had mixed fortunes up here. It's Finn again, and he takes a couple of defenders into his orbit when he comes forward. Now there's great play here from Porter inside to Ale. Ale's going to be taken, but he might try and get the ball away. No. He does well.
Another fantastic run there from Finn, just causing a lot of problems for the Macquarie defence.
Oh dear, Dryden. David Dryden gets the fumbles. And so this time it's Macquarie who are let off. And they're still close. 10 minutes to go. West's 24. Macquarie 18.
And really, that could have been the game for West. If they could have gone over there, 10 points, at least get 10 points in front with 10 minutes to go.
I said that a minute ago. Weren't you listening?
No, not really. I don't listen to you. After your comments of conservative kicks.
Yeah, fair enough.
Your pro-Kerry Packer position.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. So Macquarie looking to get a roll on here, and they're going to get a penalty, which is even better. The markers weren't square again. There's been a bit of that today from Wests, and I haven't been keeping track of the penalty count, but I'd be surprised if Wests weren't in double figures for penalties conceded. I reckon they've had at least 10. If anybody's watching this stream and has been counting, by all means tweet at me through the week. So Schmiedel. They can't keep spurning this good field position though, Macquarie. And that ball, they might have done exactly that. No, they haven't. It's a penalty for a strip. And now we're going to get a bit of a conference. There'll be a bit of off from the crowd.
I think we're going to get the Glenn Maxwell, the the referee, NRL referee Maxwell. I don't think it's
Jared
Glenn.
Maxwell.
Jared Maxwell. I don't think Glenn Maxwell moonlights as an NRL referee. Do you think?
I don't think he needs to.
It would add a lot though, wouldn't it?
It would, but
The Big Show.
I think with his IPL money, he's probably all right.
I think that comment was
just to stay fit through the season, maybe.
You don't know. I've got it there, fellas. You don't want to see what I want to do. Send the bloke off.
Yeah.
I think that's what that comment was. Don't tempt me.
So Briggs off to Sumner. Good chance here for Macquarie. Cantor ran around the back of a player, I think, from the inside shoulder. We've got a decision and we're going to the board, but they carry on. Very slow play the ball here. Macquarie pushing hard. Alchin. Seems to run like a whirling dervish or something, doesn't he? Swings around. Now it's Gallen who has another snipe for the line. 8 minutes to go. Time ticking, but plenty left. Sumner out the back to Cantor. Gets it away. This is a good chance. It's a beauty if he can get it down. He's over the line. He's wrestling still and still wrestling. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. That was a great scrap from Kuka Smith, but he didn't get the ball down. Cantor out the back. There must be offside there, you'd imagine. Now it's Briggs. They've got numbers to the right if they can get it that way. Briggs is going to try and do it himself. He pops it out the back and Ty falls on it. And Macquarie have spurned a great opportunity there. A bit of vision to the right-hand side and they were at the races. And now there's a few offside. As play goes on, West survive again.
Top defence though from West. I can see where it must come from because there's a couple juniors here, the ball boys, who are just been tackling the absolute bugger out of each other.
It's a one-on-one game being played at state of origin intensity, isn't it? And I'm glad I'm not the only one who noticed that. Here's Tafua back on the field for the final stint. Down the short side with Gordon. This might go out. Oh dear, Simon Williams. I thought it was going to loop into touch, but Simon Williams did get both his hands on it and then had both his hands off it again. So, Macquarie will start another set on halfway.
Geez, Bar TV must be sinking a lot of money into this game to keep it interesting.
Well,
because I'll tell you what, it's West, I don't think have completed a set in the last 20 minutes.
As I said, it's been high charity. The amount of opportunities they've given them.
All tax deductible, obviously.
You'd imagine so. I'm sure they'll be claiming it. Now, Allen throws it out the back. They're up quickly in defence here, Wests, and with that being the case, they probably would have been better advised to keep it through the middle. Allen's into dummy half. And now Swaddling's back on the field, possibly resuming his critically acclaimed ball-playing role from earlier on. And now Alchin, that's a great run. That's the sort of run that lifts a side, that's pushing for points. Noble, away there to Briggs. Forward starting to lift here for Macquarie. But it's the backs that need to do the job. The forwards have been doing theirs. Noble, away there to Swaddling. Swaddling away to Allen. He ran around the back of Gallen. That rule is rather more lackadaisically enforced in this division. Now Schmiedel away. Allen puts it on the toe, and it's a pretty ordinary kick. And it's going to be Jermaine Ale who catches it. So another opportunity not taken. And Wests are the sort of side that if you keep letting them off the hook and keep letting them off the hook, they'll go up the other end and score on you. But Herman comes forward. Neither coach will be happy, you wouldn't have thought, with the sum of the performance today. Steve Story will be happy with the performance of Jake Finn, though. He's a cannonball for them. And now a bit of spin to Porter. Shrugs past one, but that's last tackle, and he's their main kicker. So Brown has to get in position, and he's back on the 30-metre line. And they're up quickly on him. And it's a pretty dusty old kick. So Matt Simon, not to be confused with the fellow who played for the Central Coast Mariners,
who is neither agile or quick.
No, is taken down. So this is Kuka Smith, and he's buried. Big tackle. I think it's Dryden out there who bumped him. Oh, the ball goes to ground, and Simon Allen has it, and now they're crabbing up. The defence from Wests is getting up quickly on the outside and encircling the Macquarie attack. And so after fielding the ball on the 30, 2 tackles later, they haven't gone anywhere. 4 minutes to go. And it's Sumner. He's going to try the 40-20, and he's not done it. He's kicked it out on the full. And he went for the miracle play there, Andrew Sumner. And he turned water into effluent there. A lesser-known trick.
Yeah, I don't think you find that one in the Bible, I don't think.
Wouldn't have thought so, no.
But Western need to close it out here. They've really haven't been in the game at all in this second half. Apart from that try quite early on by Reggie Saunders, they've really just kept letting Macquarie back in the game, and they really want to close it out here with at least a repeat set to wind down the clock, which is at 3 minutes.
I'm just watching the organising that's going on here. I wonder if they might set up for a field goal as Brown goes and throws a pass. Fabielli misread it. A two-pointer.
Yeah, isn't that what a field goal worth?
No, sorry, you're stuck in 1962. As they come away, they're set up relatively well for it if they want it. Tafua might not need the field goal. He goes hard. Porter's back and screaming for it. What's he going to do? They go the short side away there to Herman, who's turning him. It's stolen there by Allen. That can't be legal, can it? That looked like two in the tackle to me. But off they go. So Macquarie, with 3 minutes left on the clock, find themselves 90 metres from home, right at the base of Yakabar.
Who's the man for Macquarie, do you think? I think Schmiedel and Sumner are the two go-to guys for them.
I think if Schmiedel can get one-on-one with someone out wide, they're a chance of busting them open. If not, you're going to need some sort of chip and chase or spreading it wide late in the count or whatever it might be. Oh, here's a chance. Nathan Cantor, he's another option late in the game. 2 minutes left here. Slow play the ball. They're looking for the penalty here. Noble away. And Allen, well, he's gone. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it's going to pitch here. There's a chance for Sumner to grab it. He's tackled off the ball. Gallen has it. They might say 6 to go. They won't say 6 to go. Hang on.
Yeah,
they have. So there's about a minute and a half left here, and Macquarie are on it. It goes out there to Kuka Smith, and there's a bit of broken play for him to run into, but he might be heading out. He is heading out. Oh, it's a pretty ordinary mistake in the end. Kuka Smith, he overestimated his own strength compared to those three Western Suburbs defenders, and as soon as that last flicker arrived for Macquarie, it was extinguished.
Again, something that Macquarie has really just done to cruel themselves. They've been letting in this game a lot by West, but just haven't been able to capitalise on the opportunities given, and there's another great example of, on the first tackle, going down the short side and just being bungled into touch when play it safe for a few tackles and get yourself into a good position where you can set yourself up for a try.
It's the story of the game. I'm not quite sure what Simon Allen would call that kick. It looked wobbly as all hell to me, but it almost came off. 50 seconds left as West form this scrum, and you're pretty much looking for a one-on-one steal or something pretty bizarre from here to prevent Wests from claiming their second win in a row to start the season, as there's a heavy shot. I'm not quite sure what's happened at Central today, but it's possible that if Central got the better of Cessnock, West could be the only undefeated side in the comp. Oh no, South, of course. South have won 2 from 2. But even at this early stage, they open up a little advantage on some of the big competitors. Pywell. Macquarie, with 15 seconds to go here, are going to be 0-2 to start the season as Ale comes forward. There won't be time for much more here. There's 8 seconds left on last. And so it goes over to Porter, who thuds this into touch, and that will be that. There's the siren. And Western Suburbs have the chocolates today. And you'd have to say, on balance, they've won it in spite of themselves. They played very, very strongly in the first half, didn't make many mistakes, but in the second half, well, it was charitable, as we said a few times. They gave Macquarie every opportunity to win the game. They served it up on a platter with all the trimmings and a choice of sauce. And Macquarie said, yeah, you know what, I don't fancy it.
Yeah, I think it was certainly West's game in the first half. That first 35 minutes were totally dominant, what you expect of Western Suburbs team, or the Western Suburbs we've become accustomed to, but really crueled themselves in the second half, but were just good enough, or maybe probably Macquarie just weren't good enough to be able to come back and get those points that West got in front in the first half, but really that second half of the last 20 minutes really wasn't fluent football or football you would expect of these two sides, and two sides that you would fancy that will be right up there at the end of the season. So, look, early doors, but really it was just I think a typical West win of just being able to grit it out at the end and have a very well organised defence, and just really, at the end of the day, were a bit tougher than probably Macquarie were.
In this competition, there's not another side that you'd like more to be defending your line in the last 20 minutes. They're so good at holding onto a lead in that late stage of a game, and we saw it again today. As for Macquarie, well, you'd have to say they're missing a few players and they need them back. I mean, Scott Briggs would have made a big difference today with his creativity. You suspect Daniel Abraham probably would have made a difference today if he'd played. They are a little bit undermanned at the moment, Macquarie, and it's going to be a tough start to the season for them. As we mentioned a moment ago, they have Curry at home next week, their first home game of the season, Macquarie. Then they have to travel to Maitland in round 5. As for West, they've got to travel to Maitland next week, and then they are back here at Harker Oval against South Newcastle in the round 5 match as well. So, from all of us here at Bar TV, thank you very much, Matthew.
Always a pleasure.
Matthew Peterson signing off. This is Morgan Campbell signing off as well from Harker Oval, where Wests have the points. They're undefeated through 2 rounds of the season. Another tough win, 24 points to 18 over Macquarie.